Hello, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. You are listening to the Stable of Studs Wrestling Podcast. I'm indeed your host, Tank Rodriguez. Via Zoom sesh, we got the boys. We got the back of Jimothy James Dean.
What's up?
That's what Santa Claus looks like at his workshop over there.
I assume, yeah, the red flannel cutoff vest, which you stole from me.
I wore it long before you did.
Mine had long sleeves before I cut it off, but I still had it before you.
Yes, so did mine. I didn't buy it this way.
All right, both of you are Mick Foley. We get it.
Or Abyss. One of you is Abyss, and the other is Mick Foley.
James is Abyss. James is Abyss.
Hey, which one of us went as Mick Foley for Halloween?
I don't remember.
Well, you're technically Cactus Jack.
That's right.
Yeah. And, of course, we have that's Adam freaking Danger. How you doing today, sir?
Hey, I'm doing well, my friends. It's good to hear your voices.
Always great to hear your voice. And, unfortunately, amidst this crisis, we had some budget cuts. So we did have to let one of our Stable of Studs podcast members go. And so we wish Tanner, we wish Tanner Treadway the best in his future endeavors.
I wish you would have let me know before this.
I don't know what you're doing on. I don't know who gave you the Zoom link, but yeah.
I don't know. I feel like what's his name from Office Space. I was told that I would get my paycheck in the
No,
hand.
you're like Matt Hardy after he got let go. Because...
Why'd you do it?
Why'd you do it, Lito?
Why'd you do that?
Why'd you fire me?
Why'd you fire me, Vince?
And then, of course, we got Tanner Treadway, who has not been fired. How are you doing today, sir?
I'm good. I got a job.
Yeah, exactly. You still have a job. Appreciate that. And then, of course, not to make light of it, but WWE definitely it's not surprising because this is something they definitely have done in the past. I don't think last year they did it as big. I think it was the year before that it was like a heavy one. But yeah, over 20 people have been released so far. Yeah, a lot of people and a lot of good names. A lot of really good names that I was actually surprised to see. But then you think about the current situation that we are in a whole global atmosphere of pandemics, whatever, long fancy words. Do you think how much a part of the XFL did this have on effect on WWE?
A big deal, I would say.
Yeah,
I mean, financially, of course, yeah.
Yeah. When XFL filed for bankruptcy, I think WWE had like a 25% stake in the XFL company, which isn't surprising, but yeah. What were y'all's first thoughts when y'all saw that list? We'll start off with Tanner.
So a lot of them were not shocking. A lot of them, it was like, okay, WWE can't afford to keep guys on the shelf anymore. Mm-hmm. So like guys like EC3, I was like, that's been a matter of time.
Thank you. Yep.
Yeah, I was like, good for him. That's been a matter of time. Rusev was a bit of a shock. Rowan was not a surprise. It just seemed like at the time of reading it that all the guys that shouldn't be there are now gone, which is a good thing. Mm-hmm. But then you had Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson. I finally get to call him Machine Gun again. Thank God.
Exactly.
They were in the main event of night one of WrestleMania, and now they're fired.
Yeah. And we'll jump into the specifics as we go one by one of these names here. James or Adam, what was your first initial thoughts?
I would say that, just kind of concerned because kind of going back to some of the previous shows that we've done, I articulated that I think as fans now, we really care for the people themselves. Like we follow their career from organization to organization. So we're really glad when they're at the WWE, no matter what, because that they're, pulling a paycheck and that we want to see them do well. If this were regular circumstances and let's just say Gallows and Anderson were let go, that they'd be able to pick up work, maybe do the indies, or they would jump to AEW. Under normal circumstances, they would be fine. Mm-hmm. But immediately now, it's got to be very jarring for them and their families to say, like, I don't know when my next paycheck is coming because everything's at a halt. It's just scary. I don't know. It doesn't matter if you're a wrestler or just anybody. I think you just kind of, you're concerned and you just hope that things work out and they're able to bounce back quick enough, just because we care about them so much.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with Adam. Like, that's why sometimes when you, these people become humans, they're not just WWE superstars. You see them as people, especially with as much access that we now have on the WWE network and then on their YouTube show, to seeing these people in more of a day-to-day life scenario with like all the documentaries and then following them on social media and everything. You just see them as people. My first thought was, what about Heath's kids? But yeah, I mean, obviously some of these people, at this point are non-essential personnel, and some of them you're happy to see go. Obviously, EC3's been screwed since he got in the company. Dude oozes, charm and charisma and humor, and the fact they couldn't do anything with him, and he has a great look. Is he the best in-ring talent? No, not particularly, but the dude definitely should have been a bigger deal in the WWE. But some of them you're happy to see go, like EC3, just so we could move on. And then you said there's guys like, Gallows and Anderson. To me, Rowan was a surprise. They've been using Rowan as an upper mid-card monster heel.
Yeah, he was definitely being pushed until that Spider reveal.
Yeah, and that's why our whole thing was all Vince, so way to go Vince. But, I mean, it's a bummer. But again, other time of the year, these people would be able to bounce back rather quickly. Thankfully, these guys aren't like fucking, these aren't Whole Food busboys or bag boys. These guys make a good living.
Yeah.
They're paid well throughout the year. Even guys at the levels aren't on television are making a decent living. But obviously, it's a bummer at any level to lose your job. So, hopefully we can all get through this and they can either bounce back, with, another major promotion, whether it's ROH or NWA. I mean, not even major promotion. Another promotion that can pay them, anyways. But anyways, there's from that first wave, some of them were surprising, some of them weren't.
Yeah, I mean, and again, we'll go down this list and we can get into more detail about it. But I mean, you think about this, maybe, I mean, even 2 years ago, if this happened, it's the same scenario that they're in. I mean, there was no other promotion they could go to. Yeah, the indies were starting to get hot again. But I mean, as far as to make that type of money, it really wasn't feasible for a lot of like the the mid-card guys or the lower tier guys. So I think, of course, once this all blows over and, once we're able to get back in, the guys are able to get back into the ring, they're able to bring in some money. I think I say half of these people released. We see you get a good push on either AEW, New Japan, and I know Tanner doesn't like it, but even Ring of Honor, it could really bring,
excuse me,
classy
new eyes to a different product other than WWE. But that being said, we'll go ahead and start. I have a list here. It's in no particular order. So we'll just get kicking off. We'll just talk about a little bit about their, what you remember from them and where do you think they should go. And if there's nothing there, we'll just kind of skip it. But the first one I have is Deonna Purrazzo.
Who's she dating? Or was dating? She was dating somebody. That's funny, too, because she just was on TV twice in a week, and now she's gone. So
Yeah, I thought she really had something, just in terms of a look and just, kind of standing out in that really stacked NXT women's division. If she had to go anywhere, I would hope that maybe she finds some decent work, maybe in AEW. Stay stateside, I think. Maybe continue just work on your craft, and this might be a time for you to maybe reinvent yourself, come up with a gimmick that's uniquely you, that's not just kind of some cookie cutter, performance center kind
I
of.
say Impact.
Yeah, why not?
Something like Impact talent.
Honestly, I'm going to repeat this every time a woman's name comes up. They should go to AEW because fucking AEW needs a better women's roster. So.
I completely agree with that. Yeah. AEW is barren when it comes to their women's division. So anyone and everyone.
Impact is barren in general.
Well, they've earned that.
Yeah.
True. New ownership, but The next one is Alexander Jaksic.
Oh,
Hey, good kid. Good kid. Nice, definitely hits the weights.
I think if I remember right, I think the LA dojo had their eyes on him.
Yeah, that's the guy.
Okay. Good deal. I'll skip this one for now. Well, actually, you know what? Let's talk about it again in no order. Rusev, straight up AEW, or it'd be cool to see if the guy can wrestle. If he can put up or shut up and send him to New Japan.
Yeah.
He do good in New Japan. The dude can wrestle. The dude is unbelievably athletic, especially for a guy with his build. I think it's their biggest mistake and their biggest loss.
Yeah.
I think of everybody who left WWE, he's the guy that is the most complete. First off, he's a guy right now, much like Jon Moxley, who has so much support from the wrestling fan base because once again, WWE stomping on a homegrown movement with Rusev Day. And again, he's going to go into any promotion, and you can put him on the mic. He's a believable threat to no matter what dude you have in your roster. I think that's their biggest mistake, and I'm glad that he's going to have the chance to prove what he can do, and I hope he crushes it. So that's ironic. Crush. Anyways.
I mean,
Nice.
I can see Rusev I'm gonna butcher the name, Tanner. So help me out. I think it's Tomohiro
Ishii.
Yeah.
Ishii, he'd fucking murder Ishii. I like Ishii, but dude, he's 5'8" and 185 pounds. But anyways, it's still a good performer. Yeah, so the thing is, I think he would be the New Japan because I think he could prove, especially working with really amazing workers and the style they have over there. I think he would adjust to it just fine. But again, as much as I would be totally fine with that from a fan standpoint, I think the money for him is going to AEW. And I think, I don't know what his relationship with those guys. There's going to be guys we bring up I know have a very close relationship with the executives at AEW, but I think he's big money for them, no doubt.
I'm going to throw this out, and I don't want to be booed right away.
Wait. Is that Mailman Mike?
Is that Mailman Mike?
It is indeed.
Hey,
hello, everybody.
Mailman Mike's on the podcast.
Hey.
That's awesome. In the dark at that too. That looking extra creepy, sir. How you doing?
Good. How's it going with everybody there?
Awesome, man. Yeah, so what we're doing right now, and Adam, I didn't mean to cut you off. I apologize. But yeah, so we're just going through the list of people being released and just getting our takes on it and seeing, where we should go, where they should go, and why. So right now we're stuck on Rusev. So Adam, go ahead and continue.
Okay, I was gonna say, Rusev's the kind of person that could really elevate a promotion. I really wouldn't be mad if he went to NWA. And
I would love that.
I think
Too small.
But he's the one that can elevate. He would be the person that kind of helps take them to the next level in terms of having a big talent. You could stay in the United States, and I think you could really make them. They wouldn't compete with WWE right away or AEW, but you would take that next step. And he's the kind of talent that you can bring in if you were serious about growing the brand, growing the promotion. Think about it. Billy, think about the money that you could put towards that and grow, and you would have a legit top star there.
As a fan, I would love that, but I think he's with what, especially his fee, he would probably be asking for.
I was going to say,
afford it. Yeah,
it's an investment.
Yeah,
you got to make the investment.
Rusev has absolutely earned the biggest pop of his life and a fat paycheck with it. And I don't think he's going to get that anywhere besides AEW. I would love to see him in New Japan. I don't think he's as over in Japan, if he is at all, as he is with the AEW audience.
Yeah, and my thing is, Cody wasn't super. In fact, I remember going to Long Beach and being shocked because the internet at the time hated Cody. Like, oh, he doesn't deserve the push he's getting in New Japan. But then, stateside, you saw nothing but, nightmare shirts. I don't. But my thing is, I think if he went over and his work rate was solid and they didn't immediately push him into a title picture, I think he'd build fan support super quick. But again, I think it would be a misuse of his talents. I think, and again, there's no way if I'm AEW and I see Rusev out there, there's no way I'm not snatching him up. I mean, and even if you snatched him up and let him sort of, build him coming, because right now you have you brought in a ton of guys like the Lance Archers and stuff, kind of tease him, really build that fan support, get him excited. So
yeah,
that way you're not throwing him right into some main event picture or upper mid card picture. Let your story sort of build. But I swear to God, if you start teasing, for me as a fan, if they start teasing Rusev is coming, once that dude shows up on TV, pop huge. So, but I mean, I'm already a diehard fan anyway. So.
Mike, you got anything?
I definitely agree with all the points that have already been raised. I think, if there's any kind of tragic aspect to not only, Rusev, Miroslav, whatever name he's going to go under, he could just go under Miro and his real name is more awesome than the working name he's had. If there's any kind of tragedy to this situation right now, you guys highlighted it, last week and the week before, speaking about kind of how tragic that Brody didn't get that initial that explosion, that air sucking reaction that he really deserved an opportunity when the spotlight was on him. Miro or Rusev absolutely deserves it and stuff. Yeah. I've had the opportunity to be around him a couple of times when he was training here in Southern California for Knox Pro, the old company that Rikishi and Gangrel were training at over here by Burbank, and he's an amazing guy. He is, when from the limited time I had with him, or time around him, he is a guy that is aware of the New Japan product. So it's something where, I just from talking to him at that very base independent pre-WWE level, it was always something where, for me, the independent guys I would talk to, one of the first things I would always ask is kind of do you have any interest in traveling the world? Because if you look right now at the people holding these top positions, it's not only the SMARC favorites, but it's guys who have spent an inordinate amount of time in Mexico and England and Canada and Japan and whatever. And he was always one and stuff that he, from talking to him, he was surprised that he got the developmental contract as soon as he did, in that, that he didn't have to kind of do that time in the trenches, if you will, and stuff. He was one that he came in when FCW was a thing and stuff. So I guess Laurinaitis really liked his size and his mobility and everything from speaking to him was right when he was headed there. But from talking to him, he had interest in traveling the world and doing some of those grassroots promotion things. So it's not out of the realm of possibility NWA would be a thing for him. It's not out of the realm of possibility New Japan would be a thing for him. I think if that does happen, it's going to be a Moxley type deal where he gets to call, he'll do TVs for AEW, he'll do the G1 Climax. I think, he would absolutely be the first name a pro wrestling gorilla would jump on for Battle of Los Angeles if that were a thing in 2020. So the world is literally his oyster, I think, and stuff right now, because so much of your top marquee talent is locked up that right now the opportunity to snatch someone who could be a needle mover is so few and far between. He is the number one guy out there right now that's not at this point locked down to something that could literally be that, the person flipping the channels be holy crap, he's on TNT, like James said and stuff. So I look forward to whatever his next move is and stuff. But did you guys already get through all of the releases?
No, we just
we're
got
pretty
through
early.
That's a third one here. But since that you brought up Brody, I did want to bring up Rowan next, and get your thoughts to see if maybe that's a collab waiting to happen for AEW.
No, and I'll tell you why. Because that's Brody Lee has gone on record so many times and saying the last thing he wants is to be associated with him again. Not just, they didn't get along when they first started. I guess apparently Brody wasn't a big fan of Rowan when they first got together. He's like, but now they are good friends. But I think he wants to be completely separate, be his own person, like stay away from that. In fact, if anything, of all the people released, I think Rowan would be a great fit for the NWA and kind of be that sort of like Nikita Koloff, kind of like, monster heel who kind of gets over with his limited working weight. But anyways, I think like I don't think as much as I am a fan of Rowan, and I think as a human being I would like to sit down and have a chat with him. I don't think Japan would be interested. I mean, maybe. And I honestly don't see AEW jumping on it either. So, but I mean, I would be happy to see him in NWA and really finally have a real huge monster that can just fucking lay waste to everybody over there. Like, so that's my vote.
I think one thing to consider too is obviously when this pandemic ends, by all accounts, AEW still has a second show that they're thinking about launching, right? Like a second legit show on TNT. So even if you just need people for the roster, like you still need bodies for the roster. You can't just have, the same roster working for two shows. If I'm AEW, maybe we're not going to back up the Brinks truck right now, but you just put out the feelers. Hey, when you need something, give us a call. We need this because the way I see it, AEW still has a whole show to fill out of talent that they don't have right now.
I would actually argue against that for two reasons. One, if you look at AEW Dark, they already are running pretty much a second show.
I don't watch it.
I do, and it's actually, I find some of the times the matches are actually better than the ones on Dynamite. But again, 20 years ago, fucking AEW Dark would have been on TV. It would have been fucking Thunder. Now, I already think AEW, I mean, we've talked on this podcast already, AEW's roster is thin as shit, literally and metaphorically. But at the same time, you don't want to fucking financially risk yourself having a fucking diverse roster that isn't bringing in the funds. Like, you have to be, like I said, AEW has to be really smart about how they spend money. I don't care that they have billionaires in place. At some point, if the company's not making money, they're going to fucking lose, and I mean, they could even lose their TV deal. But again, I don't want them to see just snatching up anybody for the sake of snatching up. They should have a plan when they snatch somebody up that they already kind of see where that person fits in their roster. But I mean, now that's to say, like, there's pretty much nobody that Jesus Christ, WWE let go of that I don't think might have a role somewhere in AEW, but they should definitely be more smart about it and choose the right people.
Oh, come on. He's Van Hammer or Jace, and like every promotion needs
and everybody needs a Van Hammer?
Yeah, of course, dude. Everyone needs that big heavy in a third tier stable.
You know what Van Hammer's good for? YouTube clips that we can all laugh at.
Well, yeah. I mean, I definitely understand that. It'll be interesting to see where Rowan lands up. I really don't think we ever got 100% of Rowan. As far as I think we were just about to see it. I definitely do believe that NWA would be a perfect fit for him. I do believe that two individuals here that got let go. Hold on, let's see. Okay, so apparently there's a 40-minute time limit for this. Anyway, but yeah, Zoom let it go. Thanks, Zoom. But yeah, two individuals here that I think would be perfect for NWA, and that's Epico and Primo for the tag team division.
Definitely.
I mean, I'd be happy if those two never graced television again. And
is it just for their last name? Is that it?
No, it's just because they're boring as shit. Like they have zero. I don't know. I mean, good for them. I mean, it's not nothing. It's not personal. I just don't. They're one of those teams on TV I literally get glassy-eyed over. Like,
I'm
but again,
James.
but having said that, that's because of the way they're used by. There's nobody on earth I don't feel like can have a second chance and blow you away. Like, just because they sucked in WWE doesn't mean that it's not at least partially WWE's fault. They could hit the indies and blow me away. So whatever. I mean,
they're ROH talent. Like, do something kind of in relative obscurity make like a big deal about it, and then you just kind of march your way back up. Which I think they've left the company or they've been away from WWE and then they come back and maybe they have to go to Impact or ROH just to like, hey, just work, just do something and figure it out, and distinguish yourselves from all the other tag teams.
Yeah. Well, and I don't think anything needs to really be said about Mike and Maria Kanellis. So we can skip that.
Oh man, I love Maria Kanellis.
Yeah, but I mean,
baby?
Impact, exactly.
That's where I discovered Maria Kanellis and Miracle Mike Bennett was Impact.
They better not go anywhere besides Impact, because I might, there's a chance that I might see them.
Maria Kanellis can go back to New Japan and hang out on the apron all she wants.
All right, that's fine.
Yeah.
Mike Chioda, the referee, definitely going to AEW. I just don't think there's anything else.
I don't care. It's a ref. I don't care.
Oh,
Okay.
Mike Chioda's cool. I like that little crew cut haircut he used to have.
I can't believe they let him go of all people. But whatever.
He was probably getting paid top dollar, man. He's been there a minute.
Yeah, that's right. Maybe he might have been their top.
More than Lil Nate? More than Charles Robinson?
The statement that I saw made today was that he was about to hit 14 years on the roster and stuff, which seniority equaled the higher end of referee pay.
Yeah, of course.
So it was him or bring up Drake from NXT or whatever. It's you know what I mean? Like that. But apparently he was the most beloved guy too. Everybody liked Chioda a ton.
Yeah,
he seems like
definitely.
a cool guy.
And then we had, of course, from NXT, we had Sarah Logan, Aiden English, Leo Rush being let go. So, I mean, I think Sarah Logan has a future in AEW. Definitely, I don't see why we wouldn't see her in the future.
Yeah, I mean, she's and she's very forgettable in the E, but somewhere else she could actually do something. So yeah, again,
she's
like I
already
said,
doing promo stuff. I think it was on her Instagram. She's wearing a Jason style hockey mask now or something.
oh, interesting.
Where do y'all put Eric Young at?
Retirement?
Please retire.
Oh my God.
AARP? I mean, how old is he?
The dude, if he does one more promo, his lungs are going to be on the mat.
He is only 40.
It is so difficult for
He's
him to
only 40?
He's only 40.
Oh my God. What happened to him?
I thought he was at least in his 50s, dude.
He's only 40 years old.
Is he okay?
He's younger than me. Well,
that's that gas, bro. That's that good stuff,
What is he injecting it into his lungs?
Definitely not surprising, but still kind of sad because to me, half of this team was synonymous with WWE, but that's Zack Ryder and Kurt Hawkins.
yeah.
That is really sad. I mean, I don't. To me, those are WWE guys. I mean, this.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know where. I mean, I do believe that they're probably not going to stay together. But I don't know if I see Zack Ryder on AEW. I think that's too many of that type of character.
Dude,
this is one case where I would actually like to see him do the I came from WWE thing and just rip him apart. Just give him a microphone, give him 10 minutes every Dynamite, and just let him rip him apart. And
Zach or Kurt? Because Kurt has some steam, though. Zach, okay.
Absolutely, Zach, because he was never the guy to complain. You never saw anything but happy-go-lucky bro, and he was over, and they just didn't do anything with him. So now I want him to be mean. I want him to be bitter. I want him in AEW, and I want him to talk about it.
First off, if you get, sorry, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, what James has seen, when he has his kind of YouTube videos and stuff, the guy has a creative flair. The guy has an outlet, and I think he has more to share with his character. This could really be a blessing in disguise for him. This could be the turning point in his career when he was like, cool, I had no longer had anything holding me back. It was up to me, and I had to showcase what I could do. I could do a different kind of character, and I could be a different kind of wrestler. He's an enjoyable wrestler, and people got behind him, 5-6 years ago, and now, maybe staying with WWE kind of hurt him in that it just kind of kept him, with this ceiling, with this definite ceiling. So now he doesn't have that restraints. It's up to him, and this could be a real turning point that maybe 5-10 years down the line, he's like, it's the best thing that could ever happen to me because I was left to my own devices and I used all of my talent to create, a role for myself.
That's a good point. And actually, moving on just for time, another guy that I could see shooting on WWE.
Whoa.
Oh, go ahead.
Dude, that's the one I was most.
Okay. All right. We'll stick on this one for a bit.
So first off, obviously I'm a big fan of, it's funny because I was never a Zack Ryder fan when he was a wrestler, but thanks to, and again, it speaks to being able to have your own outlets to express your creativity and show who you are. Obviously, I'm a proud Hard Foundation level supporter of them on Patreon, of the Major Wrestling Figure podcast. But first off, there's not two guys in WWE who loved being in WWE more than those two guys. Die-hard wrestling fans that, like, Zack Ryder's whole life was being in the WWE. So it actually creates a very interesting dynamic what he can do now. Yeah. I mean, they do have their own outlet, but as I've already brought up other places. Number one, you saw that, I don't know if you guys saw that post from Cody about basically how putting over Zack Ryder so huge.
Yeah.
And stuff.
Yeah.
But Brian Myers, a.k.a. Kurt Hawkins, trained MJF.
Right.
He's fucking friends with all those dudes. What's that, Mike?
MJF and Trent.
Yeah. So I could definitely see the two of them going over there. And the thing is, too, in WWE, they're just two guys. But over there, like, they're two, like, Zack Ryder's probably now the most jacked dude on their whole roster. Yeah. But the thing is, they could actually do something that WWE wouldn't let them do. And they could actually take the personas they've created with their Major Wrestling Figure podcast. AEW is going to let them carry over that creative freedom. Mm-hmm. And that's something WWE would not let them do. They would exploit it for, like, their own benefits, but they wouldn't let them transfer it over into some sort of creative outlet with their own characters. That's why I think both of them are almost definitely going to AEW. In fact, I said I would not be shocked if those were the first to announce to go over. Because first off, like I said, massive connections over there. And two, because I feel like, with that certain segment of the wrestling population that they already have that connection with, it brings it over to AEW. So,
James, if either one of them even mention a toy, I'm going to hate it and I'm going to blame you.
Look, dude, they could be like, hey, we're like fanboys or whatever. I mean,
no.
I'm telling you, it's definitely,
I hate it.
Well, I hate you.
Just in time for the AEW figure line launch.
What's that?
Just in time for the AEW figure line to launch.
Oh my God!
Exactly.
No. Oh my
God. They're like the spokesmen for their dude.
I hate it.
Oh man!
Shut up, Tanner.
All right.
I don't even want to think about it.
Mike, did you have anything to say regarding Kurt and Zach?
Jim literally hit every point that I was going to, so I'm glad, that I did it again. James hit every point that I was going to.
No, his name's Jim. Jimmy.
Everybody shut up. Shut up, everybody. Anyways.
Jimmy.
Big Jim McGuinn.
So anyway, moving on to something that Tanner said about Zack Ryder. I think another individual, my personal saddest moment yesterday, or day before yesterday, learning about this, my boy, Heath Slater, I think would be a perfect fit for Heath Slater, a definite underdog, like totally just underappreciated, huge talent. I mean, I think Heath Slater's perfect for that. I said it, I was wrong, but I'll say it again for AEW if he does go. He's definitely championship material, and I would love to see that in AEW. But anyone else's hot takes on that?
And I don't think he would fit anywhere else. I think that he's somehow exactly what WWE looks for in a performer. Like, he's not like outstanding in the ring, but he never has an off day. But he's just super entertaining on TV. So yeah, I think AEW is the obvious.
But that's
fit.
the thing. I don't think we've really seen what he can really do. I think he was I think he was held back.
When he was in the, I'm sorry, Mike.
I'm gonna actually jump right on. Like, thank you for saying that, Tank and stuff. Like, I've been watching Heath since he was Heath Miller in Deep South, FCW, and those early companies. That dude can do it. And the one time, a friend of James and I and stuff, Victor, got to meet Kenny Omega in LA and stuff, and it was like, hey, do you asking him like, hey, is there anybody that you still keep in touch with from WWE and stuff for the Deep South days and stuff? Kenny Omega himself raved about how good Heath is and how the rest of the world has no idea how legitimately talented that dude. How about in training the dude's doing Liger flips from the top to the floor. Onto like Del Rio would be the only one who'd be man enough to catch him. Like, just the crazy stuff. He can do so much more than he's gotten to show. Like, even if it's NWA, because I think he lives in Atlanta now.
Yeah.
Like, oh my God, like that dude. That's another one that honestly, like, we have not gotten to, and let alone legitimately, like the few guys that I've gotten to talk about, like in WWE, legitimately considered probably the, other than your Brock Lesnar's, the toughest dude legit backstage. Like, former like Golden Gloves level boxer, like dude can throw hands like nobody's business and stuff, is just a down home, easygoing country boy. But holy cow, everybody raved about, long before like Dash Wilder and anybody else like hit that ring that day when Brett got jumped at the Hall of Fame. Some bitch, Heath Slater was the first one on that podium, and God help that son of a bitch.
Well, the one
stuff, dude. Like, cause seriously, that man, like I'd rather freaking, jump in traffic than piss Heath Slater off and stuff. So I think we're going to be in for a huge surprise. I think he's the next McIntyre, and that we had no idea what's really there.
Absolutely.
I hope so. The thing is, one thing is I give him a lot too, especially if you listen to podcasts and read blogs, is like he's one of those like top 3 or 4 guys, like kind of like R-Truth, that nobody has a bad word to say about him. Like, everybody who works with him is like, he's like the funniest guy, the coolest guy, the nice, like chillest dude. So I think in this modern era where, you don't have your Buzz Osbornes and your like just notorious dickhead, mean bullies, like I think those few like people who are really good people in the business, are going to probably be given a shot just because they have those friendships and they're like notoriously easy to work with and stuff. So, dude, God bless him. I want him to succeed. Like I said, he definitely never got to fully show what he could do. He was always like 3-man band and all that. He was always the most entertaining dude in that trio. So let's do it, man.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, best of luck to him. So we got, I think we got 3 more people that are really, really to talk about. And I'll save the last tag team here for the last topic here. But EC3, I think EC3 is probably another hidden gem, but not really a hidden gem only to the smarks out there like us that really know, like, man, like that guy is something. That dude's like MJF's older brother, pretty much, as far as character goes. So I'm not worried about him. I don't think he's worried. I think he's just been sitting at home, collecting that check. So
I think he's pumped.
Yeah, resting his body. Yeah, fuck yeah, man. He got shit on that one. And for what? No big deal. You know what I mean? Like, but he had to learn his lesson. But guess what? He didn't even get a chance to do that. But yeah, no. Just real quick, anywhere, where do you think he should end up? We'll start off with Mike. Mike's getting the tail end of this, so let's go, my man.
It's really interesting. I think it would be the easiest thing for him just to slide right back into Impact, who could use really anything right now and stuff, especially with the whole branding, the name, and the background there, the tie into the Dixie Carter and all of that.
Yeah.
I would love to see him, like in AEW or one of the big companies and stuff. Somebody suggested on one of the boards that I follow and stuff, like, what if he gave New Japan, like Juice Robinson did, a shot? Like maybe, that we would surprise all of us there and stuff. I know his work, bell to bell, hasn't always been like kind of his calling card and stuff. But I think, just looking at his Twitter already, like the dude has shaved his head. He's got the goatee grown in. He's really like, I think he's taking a look at somebody like Killer Cross and seeing like the blueprint that was kind of laid down and how that dude built a buzz and a rep and an excitement before his debut even came, just off of like a persona and a promo. And I think EC3 can do that, if not better than that. So realistically, yeah, like I wouldn't be surprised to see a stopover at Impact. Wouldn't be shocked, to see, AEW throw something his way, even as like, even as a one-off thing to go against an MJF and stuff, or like leave a promo battle there, the way they did Jeff Cobb. I think that dude's going to take, the first opportunity that comes his way. But it's interesting to me, kind of like looking at the list that's been released so far. Something you guys talked about on last week's episode, I was listening to earlier on today about, you guys had a great discussion about how the companies are really kind of making a distinct effort to really have their in-ring style really come up right now and stuff, and kind of shaping the roster that way. Isn't it really interesting to see like the WWE that we've all known for all of these years, all of us, and watched, and the things that we know WWE is prone to do? Like if you were to look and see like a EC3 and Eric Rowan and say a Luke Gallows, and then over here see Tozawa, Metalik, and like a Cedric Alexander, which three, if we all had to pick based off of what we know of WWE, which three do we all think would be cut by now, and which three do we think would still be there? And I think it's really, really interesting that like that's not the decision that was made, and it's a little curious to me, especially after how thought-provoking you guys really made that topic last week. Like what is the thought process, like based off of what we've all known, what Vince favors, what the company favors? Why wasn't EC3 an immediate lockdown hit? Like why wasn't he one of the guys that were being put into those top spots? I thought he did well in NXT. I thought he did well in the opportunities he was given.
Well, he caught heat though, didn't he? Like he got on the bad side really quick.
I'm wondering if there was some kind of meeting or something. Like I know some of these guys, it really doesn't seem the case. Like I know like Rockstar Spud, dude was busted up about it.
Yeah,
like he was super. He looked scared, and I feel for the guy.
Oh, but EC3 took him, and they were working out together, man.
I know, and that's great. but seeing the guys that were released and seeing the ones that weren't, it makes me think if somehow like they didn't call a meeting and Vince was like, all right, if you want out, here's your chance.
Maybe that that honestly makes more sense logically, just because looking at it top to bottom, I stopped and thought like, is it like the FCW guys? Because on one hand you see Ryder, Slater, Primo, Epico, like going down that list. But then no, wait a minute, Rusev's there, Leo Rush is there, Aiden English is there, so maybe it's not that. Like I was really trying to look and see like what is the
it's a mixed bag
here, because there wasn't the number of like your Smark favorites. Like there was no Sami Zayn or Cesaro or Nakamura or whoever you want to list in Ricochet. There were none of those guys on this list, even from the NXT cut so far. And it's really kind of interesting to see like, oh, is this Hunter kind of pulling these strings, keeping his guys, keeping his NXT guys, but now the FCW guys in the past are being phased out. So it's really thought-provoking to kind of see like what is the pattern here. And I'm curious, like, kind of where the decisions really originated. That if that is the reason, that makes the most amount of sense.
It's the politics of the bullshit Hulk Hogan, that politician, bald-headed son of a bitch.
Go ahead.
I was going to say EC3. I really wouldn't mind. Again, I'm going to sound like a broken record. I wouldn't mind him and Aldis tangling up for the 10 pounds of gold.
I actually thought, honestly. Literally, my first thought when he got let go was he'd do amazing in NWA.
Oh yeah.
I mean, the thing is, like, dude should be making money. He's got the look. He's got a decent size. He's got charisma. It's just one of those dudes. Like, how do you not make money with this guy? Like, but I mean, again, I think he would be a great fit. In fact, the idea of him and MJF having a feud sounds amazing to me, but you have to be smart. Like if you have enough guys that are sort of fitting into a certain mold, you don't want to just have a bunch of those guys.
Yeah.
So again, let's see what, like somebody already mentioned about him shaving his head and stuff. Let's see what he does on his own. Let's see the kind of like effort he puts into sort of reinventing himself or sort of building his own buzz, because that's what Drew did. I mean, he right away, he's like, I'm going to be the ass-kicking Scotsman who's fucking humorless and doesn't take any bullshit. You gotta
not like Sheamus. He's like, hey, I'm gonna go away for a little bit, and then I'm gonna come back to the original person I used to be.
Exactly.
And when now, woo, like,
yeah.
woo.
Did you miss me, fella?
No,
we didn't. I'm sure he's a great guy. I'm just saying,
like a cool dude, but
I'm just saying it's a little lackluster. It's been done already. But yeah, no, I mean, I think the last one that I think we all wanted to harp on, to me was more surprising than Rusev, was Carl Anderson and Luke Gallows.
Yep.
Yeah. I don't get it.
I'm gonna be honest. I wasn't that shocked. Because I think, again, if you go back to the point of people who were like, look, I'm not being used right, the fact that those two dudes came in with the most amount of heat, the most amount of buzz, at the time when everybody on Earth, even your grandmother, knew who the Bullet Club was, the fact that they couldn't pull the trigger on them right away, you knew these guys just fucking had no real future.
But as soon as Revival was released, I mean, of course, it came a few days later, but they were the best tag team on that roster as soon as they left. So I mean, they were the second best tag team.
Look, fucking WWE has the biggest fucking hard-on for the fucking Usos.
Right? What is that?
Dude, I don't get it. I mean, God bless them, but I find their whole thing so unbelievably annoying. But I mean, I'm sure they're cool dudes and whatever. But I'm not a fan of their personas. I'm not even really a big fan of their in-ring stuff, even though they're very consistent. But WWE has this. First off, Vince hates tag teams, so right away, if you're in a tag team, don't go to WWE. But number two, it's like unless you're like the New Day and the Usos, and then whatever heel tag team they throw in there, you're not gonna do much, dude. Fucking look at the what are they calling them now? The Raiders, the War Raiders, the Viking Raiders.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah, those guys should be fucking kicking everybody's ass. They should be holding gold.
Hell yeah.
They're just place card
holders. AOP? Like, what the hell's AOP up to? Other than just being big hunchmen for the
fucking
Messiah.
Vince McMahon needs to die so we can actually have a legit tag team wrestling is amazing. Fucking AEW's proved tag teams are amazing. A strong tag team division is amazing and can be super entertaining. Fucking Vince McMahon is fucking human herpes, dude. Fuck that guy. Anyway,
where do you put Carl and Luke, James?
Japan.
Mike.
Yeah, agreed and stuff. As a matter of fact, I think Carl put something on his Twitter about, Santa Monica to Tokyo, Japan, the machine gun. Yeah.
Hell yeah.
I mean, I think the clock is literally ticking and stuff there and stuff. And Carl's got a spot made for him, and Gallows can, hold his jacket, I guess.
Look, hey, shut up. Hey, Machine Gun can go back to fucking Japan and do his thing. I want the return of Sex Ferguson, fucking making cities, hitting rats.
Hitting rats. Oh, man. Adam.
If they want to work Japan and like they're going to get the money and just, that's good for their career, I'm all for it. Okay, those are the guys that I thought like, damn, because I really do like them, and I don't ever think they got the fairest shake in WWE, but I mean, they got some run as the OC. I wanted to kind of also go back to something James had said a few shows back where we were talking about, like, the WWE was very smart to pick up so much indie talent so that, there was almost like a talent deficit to go around to, trying to push the competition out of reach. However, I think that's kind of gone to bite them in the butt now that, things have been topsy-turvy and budget cuts come. They were just so overextended with talent and not doing anything with talent. I mean, it was okay to pay them if, the economy was doing well, but now that it's not, the chickens have come home to roost, so to speak. So it sucks for the talent, but hopefully, there's opportunity for them to make money, to wrestle, to do what they want to do for us fans, to the delight of us. So, I think what goes around comes around.
Look, you know what the moral of that story is that fucking you can have somebody very smart and with a fucking solid game plan like Triple H, but if the old man still wants to make fucking the XFL happen, There's
Well,
nothing you can do, man.
The WWE was in trouble before that. With the network,
they were.
Beginning of this year, they've really been
in trouble. So why on earth would you fucking divert so much of your fucking financial your finances into the XFL again? Like, dude, what are you doing? Like, come on, man.
It would have been successful if the pandemic didn't happen. I'm not saying NFL caliber successful, but I'm saying it would have been the AEW to WWE for football.
For how long?
It would have been like the Texas Wrestling Alliance to the NFL.
Oh my God!
What was the other one? It was AAL or whatever.
American Alliance of Football.
The other one that lasted 2 weeks.
Or if we're talking wrestling promotions, you could talk about my first one, the W4CW, the Wrestlers for Christ Wrestling.
I wish you'd stop talking about that one.
I freaking love that when you talked about that.
Good stuff.
There's a lot.
Praise him.
Praise him or die. But yeah, no. So I mean, that was pretty much the. I mean, who knows what else is to come? And as as time goes on, let's see what they say, and maybe Mailman Mike's onto something, like why these people, and why not other people that probably should have been on the chopping block.
We'll see, man. I mean, it's a very crazy future, but we'll see.
Yeah. Well, as we wrap it up, I want to give everyone a chance to say any kind of last sentiments. And man, Mike, I'm so excited that you're here. We want to kick it off with you, sir.
Goodness. So trying to think of anything, pertinent that I had going on. Was scoping through the news prior to jumping on and stuff I shared. I think I shared it in the in our thread, our stream, the messenger. Doesn't look like NXT Japan is a thing now.
Yeah.
Going with and stuff for sure. I think you could hear Tanner is heartbroken. Obviously, there's he'll try and console himself with a beer. But apparently, I mean, sadly, for sure would have liked, some folks there that aren't getting any kind of revenue stream. If it meant they would have gotten paid, that would have been awesome. But if it means, that company isn't, the country isn't, dealing with their political nonsense or whatever and everything like that, because in the last few weeks, like, word had come out that some of the smaller companies wouldn't be able to withstand, the weeks and months potentially of being dark without the revenue stream coming in, that maybe WWE would be able to kind of swoop in and pick up, like, God forbid, a Dragon Gate, an All Japan Pro Wrestling, one of those major companies and stuff for sure. I think Akiyama is still planned to attend the Performance Center for training at some point. But so who knows? Like, never say never for the future. But that looked like that's not a thing. I don't know if you guys saw, the releases unfortunately kind of continue today, including one guy and stuff that I've been kind of keeping an eye on and thought was really had a future in the system. It was Cesar Bononi, who was one of the guys they paired with Tainara as part of, like, that South American kind of Brazilian shoot stable. Yeah, exactly. Thank you. That dude had some skill, had some talent and stuff. I think, that might be a mistake kind of coming down the line. Tino Sabatelli was lost. Tainara herself. There's even some word right now as we've been talking. I had the text come over that it's possible Killian Dane may actually have been one of those lost. So waiting on confirmation of that. But it was noted that Nikki Cross didn't kind of tweet tonight during SmackDown like she usually does. So kind of some things to kind of hold your breath on a little bit there. But yeah, we'll wait and see. Like, I don't think we're out of the woods yet.
Good deal. James, did you want to run real quick, or do you want to come back to you?
No, I mean, really, the only thing is to say is, like, we're in a crazy time, like, and sometimes, like, it's, like I say, it's the darkest before the dawn, and I'm just hoping that, like, a lot of these guys are able to land on their feet and sort of use this newfound freedom to sort of make a change in their careers for the better. So, but I wish everybody from who was released, the best of luck.
Awesome. Tanner?
I agree. I think that as much as I like being the shithead to complain about stuff and not hold anything back, right now my concern is these guys and how they're going to provide for their families. So hopefully every single one of them finds something and succeeds, as long as it's in Japan.
Exactly. Of course.
Of course. All right. Hey, Adam, what you got?
I just want to let you guys know that I took it upon myself to slip into
Somebody's DMs.
somebody's DMs.
Oh my
and
God.
it was Joe Galley of NWA Power. I said, Joe, my pals and I, we're part of a little wrestling podcast, and we'd love
Don't
to have
embarrass
you on.
me.
And what did
And
he
so-
say?
I don't know. He didn't message me back.
Of course
I did
he
send him.
didn't.
He blocked you? He blocked you? Is that what happened?
I don't think he blocked me, but I rely on him for like my actual news. Like I don't
Okay.
know what's going on in San Antonio or with COVID if I don't follow Joe Galley.
Okay, but did you include that in the message? Did you say, Joe, I rely on you?
No, I just said
For my news.
my friends and I have a little podcast. Here is a copy of it. We'd love to have you on.
Oh,
No reply just yet. But I mean, he's from San Antonio. We're from San Antonio. Like
You should have started with, hey, we're a San Antonian.
Hey, well, no, wait. Is your profile picture Italian porno Batman?
no, it's a
Okay.
weird a hobunk Barney that has like a mask on and a top hat.
Well,
Yeah, we're not going to hear from him.
Yeah. Anyway, guys, look, I want to thank everyone out for being on and for listening. Special shout out to Mailman Mike. Thank you so much, man. You actually bring this podcast some credibility, so we appreciate that very much so.
We need it.
But yeah, so you're obviously welcome on anytime. But just for I want to say again, thank you so much for these past. Okay. Well, James dropped off. I guess he had to go to the restroom. So we're gonna call it here, folks. Don't forget to subscribe to us or follow us on Spotify. Then subscribe to us on iTunes, and don't forget to listen to Adam Danger's little side quest, Adam Danger Productions, and follow him on Spotify and give us a go. But again, for me and the rest of this table of studs, we want to thank you again for listening. We hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.